Hello, and welcome. Magical girls! We've all dabbled in the arts of Mahou Shoujo. Whether it's your Sailor Moons, your Madoka Magicas, your Magic Knight Rayearths, your Revolutionary Girl Utenas, your other Utenas, magical girl anime is beloved universally and for good reason. After all, I, a man who just entered his 30s, believe that nothing is more peak fiction than girls becoming friends and defeating evil through the power of friendship. Unfortunately, this season has plenty of magical girl anime to enjoy, which is why you should join me as I continue my journey to discover the perfect anime. Starting things off with Acro Trip, which asks the age-old question, what is the meaning of life? Date Chizuko asks herself the same thing every day. She lives an unfulfilling life with her grandfather until one day she witnesses a battle between the city's resident magical girl, Berry Blossom, and the leader of the evil organization Fossa Magna, Chrome.
Everything is chrome in the future!
There she is struck with a revelation. Life is to be spent idol-worshipping your favorite magical girls. Ignore the advances of others who may come off as friends, as nothing compares to watching your favorite magical girl. She's there to protect the city from evil, but I know what you're thinking. If Japan just has these magical girls for fighting crime, then can't they help out elsewhere? It's not like Japan has that high of a crime rate. Couldn't they help out in, like, maybe Venezuela? However, Berry Blossom doesn't really help the city out that much when it comes to fighting actual criminals, and neither does Chrome. In fact, Berry doesn't even get along with the police, though I think I know why. It's like my man Smokey the Bear said, only you can prevent magical girls. In fact, most people don't seem to care that much about Berry Blossom. All the news clips of her are sent by her cat, and Chrome doesn't really pose any threat at all. His day job is a wagey at the local Family Mart, and he's as pathetic as they come. Now, I'm a big fan of lovable girl failures. Elaine is my favorite character in Seinfeld. I made an entire video about Bocchi the Rock, and you should watch it if you haven't yet because it's really good. But you know what we need more of? Boy failures. Which is why I'm so glad we have Chrome. He may have magical powers, but I'm pretty sure that Anya could beat this guy up in a fight. Doors that say no evil allowed past this point stop him in his tracks. He only has access to magical powers as if they were minutes on a data plan. When an actual villain shows up, he joins Berry Blossom's side to help defeat him because he's honestly not a bad guy. His version of committing evil deeds involves flipping over a welcome mat and fishing without a license. I'd gladly follow you into battle on the front lines, my lord. Honestly, everyone in this anime is extremely pathetic, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch. And this anime has my most replayed moment of any anime this season. A soda can beats this guy in a fight. Watch it again! It's pretty funny that the city views her resident magical girl as being about as important as baby capybaras. Hey, speaking of which, the stories of girls who couldn't be magicians has a really interesting magic system that involves drawing shapes and calculators. Magic doesn't seem to be necessarily an inherent thing here. Magical power comes from the tools used to bring out magic and the symbols drawn. Yeah, ever take geometry class and they ask you to prove shapes? Just imagine if your homework exploded right after. I always knew those Texas Instruments were up to something. Gurumi, our main character, dreams of becoming a magician, so she studies and works hard for years to get into magical school. She doesn't make it, and is sent to Weenie Hut Juniors instead with the other schmucks who couldn't pass. Meanwhile, all the cool kids get to fly around on their flying machines and cast spells all day long. I'm not jealous. You think I'm jealous? Fail one test and you can't ever use magic? Pfft. Who would even want that? In this world, you either become a cobbler or become cobbler. But not for Kurumi, whose heart may be broken, but alas, her magical teacher reassures her and the rest of the class that they too can become magicians, and does everything she can to bring them along this path, until she disappears halfway through the season. Way to go.
Gecko gecko.
This is such a vibrant and magical world, and yet the class, other than Kurumi, is ready to settle living ordinary lives. All of them have dreams they want to accomplish outside the realm of magic, but their teacher, Suzuki, makes the case that they can still use magic to improve their lives. Why should someone just settle for second fiddle when they have the capability to achieve so much more? That's exactly how I rationalize being an anime YouTuber, and all of my friends from high school are getting married and starting families, but that's besides the point. The point is that this anime is so pretty to look at. It's got some of the best art direction of the year. The pastel colors are vibrant. It captures the enchanting and whimsical side of magic that makes people want to learn it. It's like watching a storybook. Man, so many fantasy stories these days come off like they need to be gritty or desaturated. And nothing wrong with those series, there's definitely a market for it. But I still prefer the first 3 Harry Potter films to the rest of the series. I want to feel like I found myself in a world full of mystery and intrigue, where anything seems possible. And you too can become a magical girl. Young Midoriya. Also, fun fact, the OP is sung by Puffy Amiyumi. Yeah, Teen Titans Puffy Amiyumi. The same. But from girls who couldn't be magicians, we go to girls who couldn't be employed with Magie Lumiere Magical Girls Inc., which takes place in a world where magical girls are so common that they've become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Across Japan alone are over 500 companies specializing in giving women giant toothbrushes to fly on and exterminate Kai, the monsters that continue to disrupt daily life. Kana Sakuragi is introduced as the most relatable anime protagonist as she continues to fail interviews and getting a job. But as she learns quickly, the real monster worth fighting is corporate bureaucracy. You see, there are multiple ways to identify if a company is a toxic work environment. Do they not value your safety? Worry about profits being affected by a giant ice monster more than their employees? Are they willing to sacrifice newbie recruits? Do they have 1 star on Glassdoor.com? Well, if so, then I wouldn't recommend working for them. But this is how Sakuragi is introduced to Hitomi Koshigaya, the magical girl working for Magie Lumiere, a brand new magical girl startup, and is offered a job. Who wouldn't want to work at Magie Lumiere? They offer a competitive benefits package complete with dental, vision, sick leave, a matching 401k, casual Fridays, and near minute-long transformations which you're in the clock for too. Aren't magical yourself? No worries, as magical girls fight with tablets in this world. Which leads me to believe it's just the last anime's world but further technologically advanced. You know, maybe each brand of tablet gives you different magical abilities. Like a Kindle for fire magic and a Galaxy for, space, maybe gravity magic? Honestly, all of these brands seem the exact same. This was a dumb idea. But you know what isn't a dumb idea? Working for this company. There's only 5 employees, including Sakuragi, but one of them is Koji Shigemoto, the president, and he's a massive fan of magical girls. He's also what I aspire to be like in my mid-40s, which are approaching faster than I would like to imagine. But in my opinion, what makes a great job great is largely dependent on who you work for. I once had a job that would have been objectively great for setting up my future. However, I hated who I worked for, I hated what I did, and it made me feel so numb to life itself that I had to leave. However, I have had jobs that I've really enjoyed, mostly because the people I work for were people I really enjoyed being employed by. Shigemoto isn't a magical girl himself, he's just a pretty normal guy, but he is really cool and believes in his employees. He doesn't view them as just tools or metrics for the company, he takes them out for dinner and celebration and only accepts jobs that he believes his employees will be able to accomplish. If you're aspiring to work up in the corporate world like Sakuragi is, then Shigemoto couldn't be more of a green flag. This anime is so much fun and has such a unique premise that I'm surprised I haven't seen a whole lot of buzz about it. Magical girls doing business as they're standing on it is such a great concept, and the anime uses it to its fullest extent. However, I think there's one other magical girl anime that is better airing right now, and that is 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. Now, this anime started out back in the summer, but it started off as an ecchi harem comedy, which really isn't a great description of the series. And to be completely truthful, this isn't a magical girl anime specifically, but the main female character, Rira-san, and others introduced in the story all cosplay as magical girls. And of course, there's the obvious comparison with My Dress Up Darling, but they're very different shows. My Dress Up Darling is entirely focused on the relationship between Marin and Gojo. Here though, there is some romantic progression between Ryusa and Okumura, the male lead, but he's a die-hard lover of all things 2D, and so is Ryusa too. Both of them are obsessed with Lilial, a magical girl from their childhood, and they find this out when she shows up to the manga club and just starts cosplaying as her. I guess the planets must have aligned for them to meet up like this. But the true strength of this series comes from how Ryusa and the other girls cosplay and embody the tenets of being a magical girl. Sure, they're normal high school girls, but through cosplay and the power of friendship, anything is possible. Is it the magic itself that makes a magical girl? Nay, it is her spirit, her perseverance. The drive to become a magical girl is what can truly be defined as Mahou Shoujo. And I used to cosplay a lot. I haven't in a while because it's expensive, but I've met so many wonderful people through conventions and cosplay, some of whom I consider to be amongst my closest friends. Whether you want to cosplay because you're in love with a character, to get closer to others, to make friends, or out of respect for the source material, all are valid reasons and show true Mahou Shoujo resolve. And Okumura may be dumb as all hell and doesn't cosplay himself, but he's a great MC and does everything he can to support Ryusa and the others. This anime is more about the friendships and bonds formed through sharing a hobby together, and what can be more powerful than girls becoming friends? Nothing. This anime proves that you, no matter who you are, can become a magical girl too. Despite what others may say, you are capable of achieving greatness, and that magical girl spirit is all you need, as it brings you one step closer to finding the perfect anime. Hey, thanks for watching. I also want to shout out Puniru is a kawaii slime because it's not exactly a magical girl anime, but it feels very similar to one at times. If you want to know more about that anime, I covered it in my previous video. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to sub, Fighting Evil by Moonlight, for more Winning Love by Daylight. I'm working on hitting 5,000 subs before the end of the year, so if you do subscribe, that would really make my day. And I've got a bunch more videos coming out soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.